This is not a specific issue that is affecting a specific county or counties that are expected to have drought. This is an issue that's affecting all Kenyans in one way or another. You will know brothers or sisters, you will know some relatives who are affected that will not be able to put a meal on the table.
According to the National Drought Management Authority, 13 counties in the arid and semi-arid lands are in the alarm phase, with 7 counties placed in the alert phase. The latest report shows over 4 million Kenyans are in need of food support, with the number expected to rise from January 2023.
7 counties are on alert and 3 counties are on normal, together with 45 wards from non-traditional ASAL counties from 9 counties. This implies that the current drought situation does not only affect ASAL but also affect other non-ASAL. It therefore implies that we are not going only to respond in the ASAL counties but also other counties. When you look in terms of the drought impact has affected almost all the sectors.
The National Drought Response Steering Committee said an estimated 2.5 million livestock deaths have been reported in the arid and semi-arid lands, with Marsabit, Samburu, Mandera, Wajir, Isiolo and Garissa being the worst affected.
Beyond the impact on food that is not landing on everyone's table, remember there's livelihoods that have been affected. You saw that 2.5 million livestock have been impacted by this. That's about $1 billion of livelihoods. So even if rain came back, in terms of even if we got proper rain in the next few seasons, those people have to rebuild their lives. Yeah. So those people have to rebuild their life from scratch. Many of us, there are some communities which rely on livestock. There are other communities which rely on land. Whichever community you're dealing with, they have to rebuild their life. And this issue has been there for a while and has had a lot of input from everyone. You've seen the amount of money that is going into this area.
There are plans to mitigate the drought situation in the country, with the budget for the year 2023 starting January to October set at 57.36 billion Kenya shillings.
From last year September up to date, the government has spent about 18 billion Kenya shillings to respond to the drought. And the international community have also spent about 48 billion to respond to the drought.
The money will help facilitate food assistance, water, health and nutrition, education, security, agriculture, wildlife, forestry, and the long-term coordination strategy.
You can imagine what would have been for this drought if we still didn't have our protected ecosystems. What would have happened if we didn't have water flowing from our rivers? You couldn't even talk about damming or even agriculture supported by irrigation, because you still have to talk about water. If you talk about building resilience of the vulnerable communities across the country, actually their last solace is actually forest. And the pressure that we are getting when we have drought in the dryland areas in the forestry has never been communicated. You talk about people looking at forest as the last area they will get green grass for their cattle. The forest remain the last area they want to get water, clean water. And that's why sometimes we have had to deal with conflicts in the forest ecosystem, because many communities meet with different needs. Some accessing water for drinking, others for their livestock, others even the wildlife.
Salma Salim, The Muslim Insight.